Welcome to the Business Squad, Live 5 with our guest from Sweetbird Bakeries of Madness and Goodness. Sweetbird, sorry. Caught myself. Sweetbird Bakeries, that's right. Kitchen, see? Holy
Sweetbird Kitchen.
I'll be quiet and I'll let her name her own company. As usual, we're going to go around with our introductions and get things rolling. We'll start off with Mr. Shemansky.
Okay, I am John Shemansky with Coca-Cola Financial and a proud member of the Business Squad, and I am your independent health, life, long-term care, disability insurance advisor, and I'm here to help small businesses make sure their employees are happy and compliant. There you go.
Now it's me. All right. I'm Marilyn Mack. I'm the owner and baker at Sweetbird Kitchen in Oak Park, Michigan.
And you make awesomeness in the bag.
I make really delicious toppings and snacks.
Very good.
Look for these. See them? You can't see that, but you'll zoom. This is a high def picture.
Yeah.
We'll be
Zoom
talking
in.
about this.
We'll
put a link
Super
to
good.
order. We'll put the link to order
Super
in the
good.
YouTube post.
Yeah.
And while we're
Pie
doing that,
crust
we'll order a bunch for the office.
Okay.
Yes.
And Ben pays for them all.
Yeah, sure.
That's pie crust crumbles.
That's
Pie
right.
crust crumbles. Yeah.
And it just sounds good. Cheddar and cheddar
Love
cheese.
It's good.
Cheddar and
Cheddar
pie
and
crust.
Very good.
Sounds
See,
What's
this
not to
whole
love?
stream, people will be reaching in front to grab it. You'll
That's
see
Yes.
As we nibble, don't be mad.
that. Right.
Just order your own.
That's
Yes,
right.
exactly. So I'm Ben Van Gelderen, and the Business Squad's legal eagle, and I'm an attorney. I do business law, corporate law, a lot of contract work, healthcare law, and I also do a lot of insurance law, which is basically contract law.
Mm-hmm.
And I really try and do things differently. I try and be flexible, which a lot of attorneys aren't willing to do. And I try and make sure that, the client is the boss, right? And I work for you. Because I think a lot of attorneys don't look at it that way necessarily.
It's a true story.
It's very true.
They look for like the nearest juggler and just leech and wait to die.
Yeah.
Well, there's different.
No offense to any attorneys out there that live that lifestyle. I don't judge.
There's different classes of
I
attorneys.
judge.
I don't judge. My name is James Lewis, another financial guru here at the Business Squad. So if it deals with your buck and how to make your buck behave properly as you expect it to, I will help you get it in line. That might be everything from cash flow management for your company. Might help you actually with the risk aversion as well. And maybe even the simple stuff like budgeting or sales expansion and help you actually look in that area. We help in all of those points of access for you and your business to make your business do the best thing it can to help you earn the most money you can for all the love, blood, sweat, and tears you give it.
All right. My name is Ellen Patnode, and I am the coach
Coach
here at the Business Squad, or resident ass kicker, however you want to call it.
She does much of that.
I thought it was light bulb changer.
It is also light bulb changing. Really, any term you want to use that means I am helping you shift your perspective, shift your thinking on your business and how you can make it as successful as possible. So I'm that component of the Business Squad.
Around here, ass kicking is a lot more appropriate
Ass
than life
kicking?
changing. Really.
Yeah.
That is such an undersell light bulb. It's like, oh, I'll give you a light bulb. Change it
It's not
out.
like she comes in
No,
and she's
you don't even need a light bulb. You should have a halogen lamp. Okay, halogen lamp sounds great.
Like I said, whenever form you need it in.
Yeah, you have to pay though for that abuse.
And you'll like it.
See, that's what we're talking about.
My name is James Lippens. I am the employee payment specialist, I guess. Make sure your employees get their paycheck on the right day. My company's Payroll Vault. We deal with cloud-based payroll solutions for small businesses. And I'm happy to be a happy member of the business squad. Proud and happy. I mean,
That's right.
it's nice outside. It's sunny. It's kind of warmer
gorgeous.
than it has been.
It is
And,
a fantastic day outside.
Staying casual
It's
today,
actually
that's nice.
spring in Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's probably going to be
You think
snowing
so?
when we're done shooting. So
Stop
let's
your
say,
silly talk right now.
I'm just
My
making
son-
sure they don't jinx it.
Yeah,
My son
like,
actually said to me yesterday, he was like, "Daddy, this is summer weather. Can I swing on the swings?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not quite summer weather, but we're almost there." So
We'll give you a
this might as well. It could be like this in July.
Yeah, but kids are hardier in Michigan. My kids have been outside jumping on the trampoline and swinging at the swings for a week.
That's
ever
right.
since
My
it's
In the
snowed.
snowsuits, right? In the
Yeah,
snowsuits.
friends who live in like Florida are sending their kids
Yeah.
to school. in
Trampoline, does
snowsuits.
your
Yeah,
insurance
right.
guy know you have a trampoline?
You're
Let's
right.
not even talk to
And walking. Again, we're walking. So, our first segment of the show is actually called The Pulse. And in this segment, we cover some topics of current events, things like that. We usually try to tie things into our guests, things relative to them to make them feel at home. This week, we're going to cover bakeries. And one of the first articles actually was Got Enough Bread. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to see for the startup costs, things like that. And, I think because she's bootstrapping so much, it's not a real fair assessment because you can't maintain that for forever.
Right.
And so they say she's built this business, but I mean, needing the dough, I know she needs it. Well, she might want to get some help on better ways to find some dough so that she can really grow her business so it can rise. I don't know how many puns I can get in
There
there.
are so many puns in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how many I can get in there, but either she's going to cut the dough and move on or no. Oh,
No.
Anyway. So anyway, that's my opinion on it anyhow. But
No, she's gonna need the dough.
she
Yeah,
will need the dough.
that's an interesting question. I think we had bootstrapping sort of later on to talk about, but
Yep.
I think it's
It's all
really
together,
good-
right?
Yeah, it's all together, and I think that it's really not a question of how good is it to be bootstrapping. I don't think it's
No.
what are your options. Bootstrapping is an option, right? Sometimes financing from the bank is not an option, right?
That's right.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, and so
You gotta
it's
see
always a
Vinny in the
matter
back
of,
alley
like,
for like $20,000.
if that's what you gotta do.
Sometimes
But-
you do what you have to do.
And we were talking a little bit before. I was starting to ask Marilyn about how she started, and it sounds like she did it in a very smart way. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Sure, I did it in, I don't know if it's a smart way, but it was the smartest way for me. I did not want to incur any debt to start a business. So for the last 3 years, I've been basically a brand without a product, which in hindsight was super smart because I had an opportunity to now have a built-in, cheering team
Right.
saying, can't wait for this product to launch, can't wait to buy your stuff. And so I took $500 out of the checking account with my husband's and or not. And and I did a very small GoFundMe campaign. I got $2,000. These are just people who, were like, yeah, I'll give you $50, I'll give you $100. We want to see you succeed. We've been watching you for, the last 3 years on Facebook and Instagram with your food journey, and we know what you want to do. So I took that money, and I then did research. What do I need? I had zero idea what the steps were to start a business. I've been in the corporate world for 25 years, but I had no idea about how to start a food business. I just knew I wanted to put a product out. I wanted to feed people. Is the business end my forte? No, not naturally. Am I pretty good at it now? Yeah, I'm getting better. So I researched and contacted MDARD and got a lot of information. I got all the steps, and then I just started following the steps. It was easy when I had an outline. I don't even want to call it a plan because I'm not a huge business plan proponent. I'm sort of let's consider that a recipe and tweak it as we go along. So I just took baby steps and funded the steps along the way with the little money that I had, and was able to get licensed and launch in about a 6-month period from when I had what I thought
Without a
was enough money.
product, though.
I developed the product over about a 3-year period, and I finalized what I wanted to do in that time frame when I started the GoFundMe. I said, this is what I've decided on. This is the product that I think is going to sell. This is what I think I can be successful with from a product cost standpoint. So
So what did you start with, if you don't mind sharing? What was your first product, really?
it's this. This is my first
This
and
is it.
only product. These
Right.
Sweetbird Kitchen pie crust
Oh, I thought we were
waffles.
talking about the bacon.
The bacon jam was not her product from the kitchen.
No, that was a home product.
Yeah.
I did learn
Oh.
that doing bacon jam was going to be a multi-year process and involves, FDA approval
Yeah.
for meat processing, and
Yeah.
I needed a facility. And at that time, when I was thinking about this 3 years ago about doing a product, I had no idea. The whole concept of dealing with the government and dealing with, you know,
Government's your
filling
friend.
out a business plan, and it stymied me. It scared me. I did not. I felt like it was an insurmountable set of steps and process, and way more money than I thought I would ever be able to gather up. So basically, I started with $2,500 and
A dream.
a dream and some cheese.
Cheddar, you
It's
like a
always
good
good
cheese.
Yeah.
These
Cheddar's
types of
my
businesses, you know, they can get very big. You know, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know, especially artisan industry. You know, in Ann Arbor, we have a huge artisan industry, you know, company, Zingerman's, and one of their primary products is bread. You know, and they started small, but they certainly sell a lot of bread and artisan food
And
products.
artisan food products, yeah.
And they're an employee-owned company, and you know, just do business the right way. So you know.
They do. Their business
feel
model's
like
pretty outstanding.
They started a lot like kind of you're talking about, because I
Yeah.
believe they started their deli with like a loan from their aunt or something like
They
that.
did, yeah.
So, you know,
So Anthony stepped forward, threw some coin down, and poof,
yeah,
rest is history.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's a multi-million-dollar business.
Well, and there's another one too, like the gourmet fresh salsa guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same
Oh,
story.
absolutely.
They started slinging their salsa out in Waterford, and they were doing samples as you're walking through the store or through the mall, and his wife's going, "Here, try this, try this, try this," and you try them, and then you go out to buy some, and it'd be in these buckets, and you're like, and it was in Ferndale when you go by, and they put it in their plastic tubs they had then, and they looked like those deli coleslaw tubs you get or
Yeah.
whatever sell them. So they fill salsa. Thanks for buying it. You know, they have like buckets and the big vats that they're making or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, all right, whatever, it's fantastic, and I didn't die from it. I'll buy more. I'm coming back.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, boom, 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 $150 million later, paycheck in my pocket.
Oh yeah, and it's
Yeah.
it's the premier salsa in all the grocery stores around.
It
You
is.
walk in, that's the first thing you see.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
It is top of mind for people when they go to get salsa.
oh yeah,
Because when I get fresh, I'm going to buy the same price for the jar.
so much better.
6-year
Fresh,
shelf
just
life.
fresh is so much
Much
better.
better.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
Mhm.
Something that jumped out. Well, two
Yeah.
things jumped out at me at the article. One was jumped out at me in huge 72-point flashing font, which maybe you guys didn't see. But she signed the lease before she got
Yes.
bank approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do that.
No, she got ahead of herself. Yeah.
Yes.
Don't
faith.
don't sign a lease till you've got the money.
That's faith.
For sure.
That's a sign of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I
And
got
it
you.
worked so far, but
Well,
Yeah.
what I liked about the article is it broke it down, you know, and it was really kind of shocking how many units each of these three businesses that they outlined had to sell in a day. They had it broken down to a day to even break even with their initial cost. And
Yeah.
boy, that's a tall order, you know, that they were talking about for the cupcakes. It was, you know, I thought it was 130 or units a day. Well, that's quite a bit when you're just starting out.
yeah.
But in the article, it talked about she opened her doors in the right place, and there was a line, you know, within a couple
Well,
hours.
and the thing is, you're in New York, right? So within like 2 inches,
Yeah.
there's 5,000 people.
Well, no, I think
Right.
she was in Nashville,
Right.
wasn't
Yeah.
she?
Or Nashville. I'm
No,
sorry.
that was the second.
Oh, that's
that was the
the
second
second
one.
Okay.
The,
No,
the later
the,
article.
yeah,
the bootstrap article.
bootstrapper Nashville. The baker chickie was started out in New York. and
Okay.
that helps. You
Yeah.
got a bunch of wandering
Yeah.
out, and
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
most of New York's foodie experimental anyway, because they got street food vendors everywhere, and so you're used to like, well, it's a new place.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
got to be cheaper
Yeah.
than the other one I go to because these guys are new. I'll give it a
Yeah.
try. Oh my God, so
Yeah.
good. And they go
So
back in.
you know the thing that jumped out at me about it that and you sort of picked up on this a little bit the idea of the business plan. So I'm not a proponent of a business plan. I'm a proponent of a strategic plan, and the difference being that a strategic plan becomes your roadmap. And
Yes.
the
Exactly
mistake
right.
that so many business owners or entrepreneurs make is either first of all not having any sort of a roadmap, or second believing that if they put a roadmap in place that they're locked into it.
That's
And
right.
that's not true. It's supposed to be a living document.
Yep.
And it's one that you have to evaluate on a quarterly basis.
You
It's one that
should.
you've got to make adjustments to on an annual basis.
Constantly tweak it.
And that's part of what made me so nervous about this woman, the young woman that's starting in New York, is that she has no plan. And she
Yeah.
said she's one plumbing disaster away from bankruptcy.
Sure, well, she's got $11,000
So,
bill, right?
exactly.
That's 11 plus. That's a
Yeah.
lot of cupcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, she makes $1 on each cupcake because you got to decide at that point: am I such my market can be so small that I'm going to appeal to somebody who's willing to give me $9 for one cupcake, and hope that out of every 1,000 people,
Right.
someone strolls by, or would I price it at a price point people are going to consume it? Well, now my profits can't be much more than $1. So in a month I got to
Except
sell
for-
11,000 cupcakes.
In New York at a $9 per cupcake rate, that's probably a bargain.
Yeah.
You know, that's a fair point. Yeah.
No, I think I don't know. I'm mixing up articles because because she's at 92 locations now. 90 of them
No,
are.
That's
that's-
the second
That's not
one.
her. That's the bootstrap
franchise
girl.
one.
That's bootstrapper. That's not her.
The one that
Okay.
This girl, she's got her one bakery, $12,000 a month, or $11,465.
Okay.
So she's up to her eyeballs, and she better sling a lot of cupcakes or cookies. And locally we had the same problem here. We had a local entrepreneur here do that. They bought a big facility location on the corner of downtown, and they're trying to sell cookies and cupcakes.
Oh yeah.
And you're not going to be able to do that with your overhead. And that's, you say sign a lease, it's even better as far as having a strategy plan is one thing.
Yeah,
But she needs to have gone through and done a financial assessment to
Yeah.
begin with to say, okay, I know this number may vary, but let's get an idea at least what my operational run number is going to be
Right.
so that I
Market
know what
analysis.
my market, if it can support
Absolutely.
my product point of price.
Right.
'Cause like if I'm selling a $9 cupcake, I better make sure I got 9,000 opportunities in a month to make $9,000 to sell
Yeah.
my $9 cupcake.
You got to have a good
Exactly.
market analysis to find
Right.
out if it's even sustainable. That's why your strategy of building your brand before you ever produce your product was brilliant.
That's right.
Because
I
you
had
were
no idea.
because you were
See?
studying the market to see if it was going to be sustainable.
I
So
really
good
was.
for
isn't
you.
that the-
testing it, but I didn't know.
Mhm.
I did not know that was a technique
Mhm.
Well,
for me to use. And I think sometimes what you don't know, you just don't know.
Sure.
Can work either way for you. This time it happened to be a real, positive, but I've had others that have not been.
Well, it's the beauty of social media, right?
Yes,
That's
yeah.
that's the internet, and that's the tool that you took advantage of. That traditional entrepreneurs, at least from my generation, didn't have access to really.
Oh yeah,
One
that's
thing
a
that
huge thing.
Jumped out to me on the expenses where you looked in the article and I had that nice little list is, okay, what's missing? Because even just, going out on my own, there's all kinds of expenses that you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think about.
Sure.
So you need to sit down with somebody who is an expert and knows what's going on in your field. and
Maybe even a
numbers
squad
person.
of people.
A squad of people, that would be
Squad.
really
You're
helpful
probably
too.
pretty smart.
Right?
All the
'Cause
different
if you-
areas
if
you're
you
not
don't-
good at.
Yeah, because if you don't have that
Look how
expense
they tie
budget
this
correct,
crap.
right, and it's more than you expected, you're done.
You're done before you begin.
Yeah.
And that's why so many businesses fail under 3 years. Because let's say you get an idea in your first year, you sell to friends and family, and you're jamming, you're like, woo, I'm going to be top of the world. And then the financial reality hits that all these liability things you overlooked, the State Department shows up, so you got a bunch of fines, your taxes were properly managed.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Second year, you freak out. Now you take your eye off the ball. You're no longer focusing on growth. You're no longer focusing on expanding your markets, driving your quality. That all shutters. By year 3, you have financial stress of the lack of growth of your space. You shutter your doors. And that's why so many businesses fail. And it's one of the things, I have a degree in economics and finance, and they don't teach it to all the kids that came out. They all had business degrees, but they all didn't get that.
Right.
Like the marketing guys never got an understanding of truly how the business plan process works. And they come out like, I can build you a marketing plan. Well, I know, it's great. So you can tell me how to sell my dream. Well, can I afford my dream? And will somebody pay me money for my dream?
Does
Right,
does my
exactly.
dream even make sense, dollars
Right,
and
does it
cents?
make
That's right, yep. And they don't get talked
And that
about.
was in the article. One of her biggest issues was her food costs,
Oh,
right?
sure, yeah.
Because she wasn't even getting double her money on her
Right,
product.
which in the food business, that's your
taboo.
That's huge. I mean, you have to make money on.
Well, you
on
gotta
food
get
costs.
you gotta get
You
a
gotta-
good margin.
2 or 300% return. That's
Yeah.
pretty nice if you can get that off of products. It's pretty good. And if not, you'll set up something in between because I know, as I'm sure you can attest to, that people don't account for all the waste that comes with producing the product
Oh,
that's
exactly.
not sellable.
Right.
Right.
You can't
And
really do it.
you're-
Feed the birds. The birds love you.
Yeah.
Well, that's
If
what
you're
you
a really
mentioned
good
before we
innovator,
started.
Though, if you're a really good innovator, though, you'll find a way
To
to
use
turn that waste.
Well, you
into
just
some
talked
other
about it,
profit,
right?
which I was talking about earlier. The crumbs.
Mm-hmm.
Do something with the crumbs.
Yeah.
But you got to recognize that the crumbs are waste, and then you say, all right, what do we do? You got to find what the waste is.
Mhm.
And you got to be paying attention to that.
That's
Maybe
the
you
whole
could
thing, is
package
paying
it so it
attention.
really is for the birds. And the bird
Yeah.
cage, you know.
Maybe some expensive bird crumbs.
Yeah.
I'm in.
It's an idea, yeah.
I don't even know if Sweetbird
Yeah.
Kitchen would tie into that.
Right,
I
right.
mean, I think
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yep, yep. That's right. You love
That's
your
great.
bird. That's right. Give your bird some cheesy cracker crumbs. That's right.
They'll be coming back, baby.
That's right.
Gourmet
Yeah.
bird.
Your bird dies of an artery problem. Not a problem. They explode in a little roll of cheese. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just make sure you make the birds blow up.
That's right, right.
Right, we have to do safety testing.
So one of the other things for one of the other articles, which I thought was pretty cool, was they talked about the Sims and how you can like Sims for business simulation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell one of those stories about my wife. So my wife doesn't play a lot of video games, but she used to play the Sims, and I personally believe that anybody plays the Sims, my wife included, they love the fact that you can construct, like you play God in that, because you have little mini people who get little mini jobs, who have little mini homes, and little mini like fake life stresses, and that's one of the things I talk about the Sims. They have simulating a business. They have that whole one now. We can simulate a food business. You can simulate a car sales, all that stuff. But yeah, so she decides she's gonna play it. She stays up all night long. It's 6 a.m. I come down from upstairs. I'm like, honey, you going to work today, right? Yeah, well, I'm going to bed. No, she's back. I'm going to go to bed and then whatever. And you can't. 6 a.m. You got to go to work. She leaves. So she leaves a little sim thing running. And all the little Sims all kill themselves when she comes home. So like, she's like, yeah, because they're not managed. They're like, everything. But there's a story to that, right? Like, you can't leave your business on autopilot. You can't leave your life on autopilot. None of that, because it'll all burn down right around you. It totally will. It'll all burn down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, I think that's one of the valuable things.
Yeah,
one
if
of the
you're not,
valuable things Sims teach you actually.
if you're not there to tell them when to go to the bathroom, they pee their pants. man.
Honest to God, they won't feed the baby dies,
Yeah.
and all this crazy
Yeah.
crap happens. Seriously, in the
Really,
house.
they built it into the game.
Yeah, they built another game.
And isn't that though a good tie-in, like with my next step, which would be a co-packer?
Sure,
That
absolutely.
is, I think where a lot of my fear about co-packing comes in is leaving my baby with someone else.
That's right.
Mhm.
I don't know if they're
They might be
qualified. I don't know if they're going to use organic products. I don't know if they're going to take care of my baby and
One rat hair per 1,000 parts.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the contract
Why'd
comes
you
in.
mention that?
Because when you
Yeah.
go into them,
They
you
should
don't
allow
want to
that
say, I need a co-packer. You want to say, you need
You.
my business.
Right.
Right.
And you're going to do it on my terms, and I'm going to find somebody. Does anybody know somebody who can do contracts?
A legal
that
eagle.
would be good.
I know a
Right?
couple.
You can say
but
this is
one,
going
yeah.
in the contract that you are not going to put any rat hair in my product. Right?
Yeah.
You're
How are
going to
you
use
gonna know?
high quality, high fat
Well, that's
butter.
another good question,
How
right?
are
Is
you
how
gonna
you're going
You
to
gonna
know.
sample in your bag?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
But that's a good question for
that's
them.
the
How are you
biggest
going to
thing.
prove it? You know?
Right. And that's what they would tell you, that we operate within the quality guidelines as outlined by law. If you
Right.
don't feel that our co-packing facility is good enough, sell your product one bag at a time from your kitchen.
Yeah, but I'm sure
You know,
that
and
in
that's-
your
Yeah.
agreement, you can set up the products, the raw ingredients that are used. I mean, you can determine that.
Not to do a bit foreshadowing, but our guest in another week, Stacy, she'll tell you all about her co-packing experience.
Yes.
So funny you should bring it up. Next week, listeners that are
She's the
foodpreneurs,
expert.
Stacy's going to be on and tell you about her whole co-packing experience and how she had to chew up all the ones in the local community to find one that could bring it up to snuff.
Yep.
And it was a battle to get it to there. So yeah, the whole co-packing thing, you're absolutely right to have apprehension because you are for sure going, here, don't kill it.
Right.
Right? Don't kill
Right.
it.
Right.
And you know, inherently, there's a 15% decrease in quality when you take it from your hands to someone else's hands.
That's just sad.
It's sad. I don't want that for my baby.
Right.
I want 100% quality. I want someone to pick up a bag every single time they pick up a bag and
Right.
have it be the exact same
Same
quality,
experience.
same experience, the same deliciousness. Otherwise, they'll no longer be addicted.
Well, that's the benefit of your long-term
Addicted.
plan, right? Is that you
Speaking
can
of
wait.
addiction.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that. You can wait till you find the right co-packer who does it the way you want it.
Right?
And if you have to try different co-packers, right? If you have to do this, you can do that and you move on. You know, you don't have to grow too fast. You know what your
crunchy and
expenses
buttery.
are. You can make sure you have the right person to work with, because that's really, you know, when you're somebody starting off and you're going to a bank, right? You're going to a bank to get a loan. You're going to a co-packing service, whatever. both sides make money, right? I mean, you might think of the bank as giving you a loan, and so you come up desperate, please give me money for my business plan. The bank makes money off of that, right? You can take that to different banks and sell it, and if one of them treats you like you're nothing, then find one that will. And then if none of them will, that's when you look up maybe your business.
Visit
plan.
Larry around the corner and get a.
Right, Vinny in the alley. I got you a loan. You might not like my terms, but I got you a loan. Right, yep. No offense to those who may sound like that out there.
Sure.
It's my bad impression. Deal with it. But yeah, so I thought the whole sim thing was pretty funny. But so our next segment that we do is actually it's our shout outs to businesses and their boos and hisses for those who dropped the ball over the last week and have done things that maybe they should be ashamed of. Let me tag in real quick to that. A couple weeks ago, for those of you who watched, we had a big discussion about Chipotle. And without Chipotle, it was toast. Like, Dead Man Walking. Locally, they've actually broke ground to open the one here in town.
Really?
Well, they did.
Yep. And today we're in there actually and looked around. It's going to be right next to one of the other restaurants that just opened here, which is a good sign because they had a moratorium on that whole thing. So it means they're moving forward. So they also got around their Ebola problem. I'm sorry, E. coli problem.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Those are real different.
That could be.
There is a
Ebola,
difference.
That could be libel right there, right?
Yeah, you don't want to say.
Typhoid fever.
You're not making any representations about Chipotle.
Nope, just Ebola. And a legal disclaimer goes behind the street.
Yeah.
But seriously though, but no, it's exciting to see that they've done that, and that it's a good sign, I think, on their part that they're moving in the right direction. One of the articles actually that our Words Girl brought to our attention, our producer for our content, thank you, Words Girl. She talked about Indian restaurant foods and the way they help feed the hungry. Yeah.
I
So
thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
why?
Because
Like why?
Because how many times have you taken a to-go container and either left it on the table
Yes.
or it sits in your fridge for a week and then you end up throwing it away?
Yeah.
We are a country of so much waste. We're a world of so much waste.
Yeah.
And I think it is a brilliant idea. I saw it on Facebook a few days ago floating around, and I was so happy to see
Well,
it pop up
explain
in
it.
our
What
list.
is it?
So it's
So
an
our
Indian, so
viewers.
it's an Indian restaurant, or it's an Indian restaurant that's decided to put a refrigerator outside, and they put their leftover food, the food that they have, their extra food goes into that refrigerator, and
So it's
anyone.
not food that people have left
No.
that they've eaten.
No,
it's
no.
the leftover they have.
It's the leftovers from the restaurant,
Right.
Right.
and they stock this refrigerator with it, and anyone can come and take it. No questions asked.
gonna be
It's
food.
targeted for the homeless population,
Right.
but anybody can come and get it. And so people have
Wow, that's
latched
terrific.
onto this idea so much that they've started taking their own extra food and putting it into this refrigerator as a way to
So
help
it's just
the
stocked
community.
other food.
I think it's
basically.
amazing.
It's an interesting
It's
thing
brilliant.
because so I'm going to bring this back to another company I was talking about just a minute ago. One of the partners of Zingerman's is actually the founder of Food Gatherers in Washtenaw County, which is the main Washtenaw County food bank. So that business started taking their waste and feeding it into food gatherers, and then getting other people to donate money and actually turned it into the local homeless food bank. So I mean, it's something that
It can be done.
is important.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, like in the U.S., I'm all for that happening here, but it's such a huge liability problem.
sure.
and
I
that's
disagree.
Well,
Well,
I'm just saying it's a liability problem under today's
liability.
law.
Talk about it.
If I'm just going by today's law for
I'm
the
curious.
business
I
financial risk,
disagree that there's liability in today's law.
Okay.
Because who's going to sue you? Who's going to enforce it? Who's going
You
to
know,
come in?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's what the law is now.
Well, no, but there has to be somebody. It doesn't matter what the law is if nobody's going to enforce it, right?
Right.
Well-
That's the thing, right? There's a law, right, against, I can't think of a good example, right? But let's say, there is risk, right? Theoretically, if you're giving away food in a refrigerator and somebody eats it and there's something wrong with it and you get sick, they sue you, right? But then you go in front of a jury and you tell the jury, hey, we were giving this food away for free in front of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Jury-
exonerate
jury's not
them
gonna
of their
do that.
liability.
It does exactly.
I mean-
From a practical perspective,
But you
it's
still have to go
very,
to court.
very
You still have to
unlikely.
do that, right? So
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
I'm all for it. I just think the laws need to change. That's all I'm saying.
I agree
Yeah.
that the laws
That's
need
all
to
you
change,
gotta do.
but
But we-
I also think that it's good. I'm glad that business owners are starting to say, yeah, this might not be the law, but we think this is a good thing to do. And at the end of the day, it'll work out, and we're not worried about the
Isn't there a business class that you can register your company has that kind of thing designed to it? We talked about one of our previous episodes, I think.
Did we?
Yeah, a certain way you can register your company if your objective is to be both good for the community.
Oh yeah, that's a
Right.
C
That-
corporation or B corporation.
B
No,
corporation.
but I mean that's nice, and that's a nice feel good thing that you think companies could come to that determination and take that risk. But you know, personally, you know, when I was in the food business, we generated quite a bit of waste, and we could have done that, but we didn't because of the liability. It's a huge liability.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You freak
Somebody
out.
takes your product, you know, carries it around for 2 days in their pocket, then eats it and gets sick, and they sue you. You're in trouble.
Well, I don't
They-
think you
'cause they
are,
can
because
sue.
they've got to come up and say, yeah, I took this product and I walked around it in my pocket for 2 days and ate it and got sick.
Yeah,
That's
and
their
they're not
fault.
gonna
Right.
Right, and who
Right.
are you
I
to
took
prove
this product
that
out of the
to?
fridge and I smelled it and it smelled horribly rancid, but I ate it anyway.
Guess
You
what?
know?
You're not collecting.
You
Right.
guys are assuming that when they're on the stand that they don't look at this as an opportunity to actually take a deep pocket and get themselves out of the
Exactly.
situation.
Or you
Right.
have an
That's-
attorney that doesn't have the morals that you do,
That's
but
correct.
they're going to go and ask for.
Because they're going to get a fee.
Brazenly, they're going to ask for $1 million and
That's
hope that
right.
they settle for 100,000 and
Take 30 grand for
and
the
they're
effort.
still going to get, you know.
Well, for
You-
one,
you-
your
it-
liability insurance will cover it, right? But for two, I think that you
Actually,
guys,
our liability coverage wouldn't cover that because it wasn't properly handled.
right,
You know
so
what I
gotta
mean?
look
Because
at
it's given
insurance
away,
coverages.
you know, and you.
But
so they wouldn't.
you guys are vastly oversimplifying what it takes to actually file a lawsuit and go to court. You have to make a complaint, outline the complaint, and you have to spell out this is the duty that they had to us. This is how they violated the duty. This is it's
Right, and your
it's a
argument is
lot
because
harder
it's
than that.
free,
And so,
there was no duty implied, right?
Well, I'm
Because
just,
giving you
well,
free
I'm just
stuff.
saying it's not as simple as you shouldn't look at this and say liability is really scary, so we're not going to do something that's a good thing.
But maybe
it's-
we're
it's
jaded.
like
I'm
this,
sorry.
You know, everybody thinks of like that McDonald's coffee cup issue where the lady spilled coffee
Right.
on her lap and scolded. Oh, she had hot coffee, and you know,
Right.
the reality was at the time McDonald's kept their coffee at like 200 degrees, so that you
190.
could get a cup of coffee and
Right.
have it in your hand for like 2 hours before it went cold.
Right.
And there was a gross negligence placed on
Yes.
there.
I'm going to share with you.
Yeah.
All right, if people didn't know, I had lunch trucks at the time, and I had when that happened. Shortly after it, I had a girl in a plant that was wearing spandex, and it wasn't allowed because it wasn't a proper fit. She took a cup of coffee from one of my trucks and spilled it on her leg, and she got burned. Right?
Sure, yeah.
They settled for $26,000 just to have her go away. They gave her $26,000
Who did?
for that.
Who?
My
Your
insurance.
insurance
Your
company.
insurance company, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't cost you.
Well, it
was
costs
the
us
insurance
premium.
company.
What do you mean?
Um,
It's
Still
premiums
costs
go
me,
up.
dude.
It's premiums
Well,
go
you're-
up.
It still cost me.
The actuary
They
on that
mishandled
decided that it was easier to pay her money than
That's
what-
what, because it was in the
and get them
news,
to
but
throw out.
it was just that thing. But what I was going to say is that we just get jaded, and fearful because of the nature of society and the Sioux happiness. I think I don't know how else to put it. That's out
a
there.
great word,
Litigious
Big,
nature
yeah.
of our society.
Yes.
Here's the thing, though. I want to back you up on this because, first of
Of
all,
course you do.
of course I do. I like Ben the best. Let's face it.
That's how we
See what the door is.
All right, we know where we're.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's my job, to create controversy. Check. So,
Somebody's
Anyway.
asking.
anyway, I think, first of all, I think that the folks that are coming, so they called it, I don't remember what the Indian term is because I don't speak that language, but in English it meant the giving tree. That's what the name of this refrigerator is. It's the giving tree. Anyone can come who has a need. If people are coming there, so you have to think about the context for how this works. And I don't think people that are coming there, first of all, are going to be nearly as litigious
No,
as
I
some
get
of
it.
the other people in society. Second of all, like you said, they'd have to go over so many obstacles to even be able to
Right.
file a lawsuit. I think
Right.
stepping back and looking at it from a bigger picture perspective, I just think about what's happening in our world. I think about our environment, I think about our economies. You think about how all of these dynamics are playing out, and the amount of waste, and the amount of landfills, and the amount of damage that we're doing. This is a great small example of how to get around
and it's on a
That's all
scale,
I'm
and
saying.
it's on a scale that's certainly manageable, because
Yes.
if they have somebody go out there and clean out the fridge, on a regular basis, and make sure
Of
anything that's not
course.
taken, everything's dated that goes in it, they spend the money to have it refrigerated. It's a big difference,
yeah.
but it's on a small scale, so every restaurant maybe should have it in a big city like this,
Sure.
Oh,
And if you're
I
in a
think
place
that's
like
a great
if you're
idea.
gonna really avoid everybody getting rotten food out of the dumpster behind the restaurant,
Right.
Right.
and getting
Right.
sick.
And if you are in a place like New York where they're more litigious, then you can probably put a sign up that says, "This is
Exotic.
free.
Yeah.
We're not liable for anything. You
Yes,
get your own
put a
risk."
So, for
disclaimer.
example, like Panera Bread,
Disclaimer.
when their bread gets old, they throw it in the dumpster.
Yeah, it's
They
crazy.
do not let their employees take it home.
Yeah.
Because
that to me is stupid
It's
crazy.
and
It's
if they do
ridiculous.
take it, it's called theft. And I
It's
mean,
crazy.
but the food is going in the dumpster, and it's still
That's-
good food.
That's my
Like,
point. That's
Yeah,
Um,
but you know why they're doing that though? They're doing it for
Liability
right,
reasons.
to protect
But
themselves.
it's shifting.
Well, no, they're doing it to make sure that they don't have employees who are tricking the system and making bread and taking it home. That's not been put up for sale.
That too.
yeah.
It's a controlled shrinkage.
Yeah,
but,
that's. I mean,
but
I can understand that. You can't argue with that. You really can't.
I'll tell you what, I buy Zingerman's bread from Kroger's, but I get it, when they do the manager special, mark it down,
Sure.
Yeah.
to half,
Sure.
because it's great for the 3 days that it lasts in my
Yeah.
kitchen. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just,
it's-
because it goes just like that, because
Right.
it's so good, and it's
I would
the
tell you,
sourdough is the
if you
bomb.
live closer to me, I would tell you to go to their bakehouse because you can actually get it at that price fresh there.
Yes.
So
But
you're just gonna Ann Arbor
Well,
trip
I
once a
don't.
week.
All
but
right.
you don't come down that far.
I don't come to Ann Arbor. Sorry, I have to go through the
Ann Arbor once a
chain.
week and you're in.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, I think I'll tie back to you talk about the landfill stuff from the other article. Another Indian company that went out to combat all of the utensil waste, and they've actually now developed an edible utensil. Plates
Yeah.
edible,
Yeah.
forks edible,
Yeah.
spoons edible.
The Indian
That's
company.
You
so
just eat everything.
Yeah.
You're done, and
Mhm.
it's made
That's
of rice.
awesome.
And if you
Yeah.
don't eat it, water dissolves it because it's a
Yeah,
rice
it's
pulp.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it doesn't.
So it
It
doesn't do
doesn't
anything.
last.
Just,
Okay.
or
This
feed
is
it to
the
the
direction.
animals.
Mhm.
Here, animals, eat my
This
plates.
is,
Right.
this is
And
the
they eat your
direction we
plates.
have to move
So
in.
yeah, we'll
That's
go out
okay.
and littering is okay again.
Yeah, right. Right, you're feeding nature. Throwing plates of
But
food.
see, I bet you that those are more expensive than styrofoam.
They're not
No,
actually.
they're
not.
The, when I actually saw the same thing,
Yeah,
and
it's that power of a paper plate.
it's less than plastic silverware.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
costs
Really?
less to produce
Yeah.
than petroleum.
And he said when
silverware.
the scale gets full throttle, it'll be less than a premium paper plate.
Wow.
So like your Dixie plates are like 9 cents a plate or something. It'll be down to like 4.
But it
Yeah.
takes food to make it, though, right?
It's
It
just
takes
rice.
Rice.
It's
Well,
rice.
I mean,
It's
say
a rice
just
mash.
rice. Rice is a
Yeah,
staple.
but rice can be made obviously very cheap,
Yes.
right? And it's
Yeah.
a mashed process, and it.
So
and it
here's my
crushes-
question, though. Those plastic forks, they break on me all the
Yeah.
time. Are these any
You just fill up
stronger?
on forks. You're just gonna fill up on forks.
But now you
Did
can
you break
eat
your
fork.
fork?
It doesn't
You're right.
matter.
You eat your broken fork.
Well,
Done
you
it.
could just bring silverware from home.
Right.
That
That's
company was
it.
born out of like in
India.
Bangladesh, how
Yeah, it's India.
the poor individuals were eating
right.
with plastic and just
Oh,
making tons of waste.
That's right.
And this was a way that they could supply
Because when you have a billion
cheap
people,
silverware to people, and
wandering
they
around.
could continue to feed themselves with
Yeah.
it.
that's
So.
right. People
I'm
wandering
telling
around.
you, countries that have a significant population problem are going to be the innovators
Well,
because they have to.
necessity is a mother of inventions.
That's right.
It's true.
It is.
Where did you learn that?
And
I
any of
learned
those
that from Schoolhouse
entrepreneurs,
Rock.
any of those entrepreneurs that need a backup plan and need assistance formulating their business, we're here to help.
That's very
So,
true.
all right. So in the same segment with the whole booze and this is now the other question. The other side of this was the article on why great harvest practices fail. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even have to read the article to tell you. It's as always. Fail to plan to fail.
Bing, 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 bing.
That's
Mismanagement,
simple.
it's not keeping it, it's leaving the register unattended, it's not managing
It's
your
all
business,
kinds of
not,
stuff. It's sloppy use of
Food
products,
costs,
right?
yeah.
Food costs are crazy because you just figure, well, I got a recipe. I'm just make the recipe. And all over the place, you sloppily do it.
Portion control, huge.
That's right. You got
Portion
it.
control is huge.
I make
Huge.
80 loaves. I'm only gonna sell 20 ever in a month on a day, and I made 80 today.
I vote we never have snacks on the show again. This is ridiculous.
Well,
I
control
vote.
is an
I vote you have a
interesting-
lunch
really is.
before you
So
come.
if you ever
What you bring up is an interesting thing for food industry because in this country, the portions that you get at restaurants are so much larger than what you should actually be eating.
Well, we're
But by the same
attuned
token,
to it, and we think
a
that
restaurant
we're getting ripped
make
off.
so
It's
much more
normal.
money by reducing their portion size
well,
and actually feeding you something that you need, and then telling you like, yeah, we feed you appropriate portions for like
Well,
an actual meal.
You get appropriate portions at a disproportionately expensive price.
Well, that's true.
So
I mean,
higher
you know,
end restaurants they give you a smaller.
It's the same thing with a tapas
Where
restaurant.
you
I
can-
go to a tapas restaurant, order like very, appropriately sized portions, and still pay $80 when you walk out the door.
I think
For
it's
sure,
the Coney
yeah.
Island's fault, when they
Don't
throw.
blame it on
they,
the Greeks.
No, they throw a pound of potatoes on with your eggs and your bacon, and it's crazy.
It's
So
so
no one's
good.
eating a pound of
Every
potatoes.
restaurant does it.
You don't have to eat the pound of
Every
potatoes.
All the
Eat
Coney's do it. Yeah, but we come from the Clean
Double.
Plate Club,
Yeah, I know.
we
I might be
were
one of the
raised
fattest
that
guys
way.
here, and I don't. Take it home.
But they reduce their production costs
Yeah.
if they eliminated the need for a takeout container.
Well, I'm
Sure,
sure
I
a lot of
agree.
it is thrown
Right.
away,
And
food
too.
waste.
Yeah,
I
as
agree
well,
with that.
and the food waste.
Yep, I agree with that.
Solve a
And, that,
multitude
and that's
of
a lot.
problems.
Well, right, and that's a lot of the whole tie into proper portion, proper planning, proper execution of your food menu.
Right.
Comes back down to having a strategy and how you do it. Like me, one of my dreams is to have a little restaurant one day. Like I love doing that kind of
Me
stuff.
too.
Yeah, but I do these. I
Don't
have
you have a
specific-
restaurant? Because I see
I,
these
you mean
posts.
Seamus
all the time.
Cafe?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah,
You gotta- if you can find it, you can eat there. Seamus Cafe.
Yeah.
That's our motto. If you can find it, you can eat there. And
Bring wine.
that's right. Bring wine. That's the only rule. Yeah. And so with that whole thing, for me, I've already had it planned out, man. Like how I'd be, and I'd only do dinners and lunches, and I do my menu specifically the day before for the next day's meal, so I have control of cost. Because the number one thing that sinks anybody in the food business is your biggest variable cost of food.
Yeah.
Because you don't control what the commodity
Specifically
cost
your
is.
proteins.
Yeah, right. You don't control the commodity cost. But yeah, so at any rate, yeah, that's the biggest reason I think too that the Great Harvest
Yeah.
below it.
One thing that I did think was
The bread
interesting
goes
though
flat.
is that they had a process for when there was a failure of looking at the failure.
Well,
and
that
seeing
was what
they
was
did.
good. They were learning from it.
Yeah, because
I
I think
thought
a lot
that
of
was
people
good.
aren't willing to stand up and say I screwed up, right? I'm sure
very
Ellen
true.
can talk more about that.
Not
right?
only that, but
Real true.
corporations like that, franchised businesses like that, aren't often willing to publicly admit when they have
No.
failures
Yeah.
No one
and
wants
take the
that
extra
PR.
step of actually doing that self-examination.
Right.
And they
Yeah,
said
but-
they actually have a council of people that they ask to come in a
Yeah,
couple times
right.
a year
That's awesome.
and participate. I think
To
that's
evaluate
Owning
it,
a
and it
franchise
came down
business, I
to
can tell you that.
mismanagement. And
A
things
franchise
like that, but-
business doesn't want to admit fault because it creates
Right.
liability.
Right.
Right.
There's another situation,
Boom,
right, where
that word of the
corporations
day.
are
Right.
starting to look
It's
at,
the
you know,
word of
Grey
the day.
Irish saying, yeah, are we creating some more liability? Probably, but in the grand scheme of things, we're making our business better. So
absolutely.
I would say.
Yeah, well, that makes
you
it
know,
stronger, I think, in the core. But
Well, and that gets back down to the B Corp thing we talked about before about the
Right.
company willing to say, look, I have an ethical code of conduct.
Right.
I'm going to work for how I impact the community, how I impact my environment, how I impact my customers'
Right.
lives, and I'm going to work out of that.
Right.
So if I do make a mistake, I'm going to tell my customer, I made a mistake, but
Right.
listen, I did it with the best intentions. You have to understand I did it with that,
Right.
and forgive, and we're going to move on, and I'll make the person whole
Right.
as best I can. But don't expect me to go out of business to make that person whole.
wasn't that a segment
Right.
that I don't think we covered completely before? Is how to say you're sorry.
We did cover that
Okay.
before.
We covered it a little bit, yeah.
It's a big conversation that we could do like a whole show on, but
Good.
I do think from my perspective, it's starting to get to the point where it's not just a really good thing to do. It's also something that makes sense. Like if you're just looking at the money, just looking at the liability, it's getting to be where it's still a good idea, right?
Sure.
So I think it's worth investigating stuff like that.
I agree. Well, now our next segment that we do is actually from the field, and in this area we have to take questions from or experience of things that happened with clients for the week. And it has that our pregame we didn't go over our normal chit chat about this. I'm gonna leave it as an open ball topic, and see if you guys have anything from your clients this week that you might want to cover, things you ran across.
I got something.
Yeah.
It went to, what did it go to? It went to, when will the file and suspend strategy end for Social Security? And it's actually April 29th of this month. So, you know, if you're retiring and you need to consider Social Security strategies, the tried and true method of file and suspend is done, and you've got to talk to somebody like us to maybe help you find the next best. So
Choices.
yeah, that was a really nice loophole that was Obama wrote away. So
Right on. I'd say one of the things too this week that came out of our client meetings was we had twice doing sales strategy, and one of the things that I would recommend from this week's experience with everybody is that you might have the ability to plant the seed in the ground, and the strategy that you use to grow your first little seedling, congratulations. Don't assume that strategy is the same strategy to create a farm load of seedlings, or a planet of seedlings, or a galaxy of seedlings. It's all different strategies all the way across. Particularly one client we had in, we talked about how they could expand their current market that they had, and their methodology was different than what I recommended. I basically said, okay, you have footholds already of 5 to 20 clients that use you in regional locations, and from there now drive deeper in those locations and start to establish and expand your footholds in those areas. Don't try to chase all over and guess and find and connect to new places. Go deeper where you already started a route, and that works for that situation. But yet with the other group we sat with this week, that doesn't necessarily apply. So we have to customize your sales strategy relative to your business, and all that fits into relative to your financial models, and you have to figure out where your money is, how you make your money, and that gets back down to making sure that you have a good understanding of the profitability model that you have, and you better have one. You can't just guess it.
And if you'll forgive the marketing pitch, right? These people sat in James's office and talked numbers. I rolled my chair across the hallway and I talked too, and so we're getting this kind of whole perspective. And then the contracts that I'm working, I got in mind what James is trying to do, what the goal is, right? Then I send an email to Ellen, bring Ellen in, and I've already got all this background for her, right? So she kind of knows what's going on. They start hiring employees. That's when the two at the end come in. Like, it's the way we do it here, right? Is different because you don't have to go. All right, well, I'm gonna go see my lawyer. All right, well, now I'm gonna go see my financial.
3 days
advisor.
go by.
All right, well, now I'm gonna go see
All
my
right,
coach.
no,
right?
4 more days go by.
And everybody tells you different things, and
it's
all
cold in your
over
own
the
head.
It's cold in your own head.
It's a really synchronized sort of dance.
Yeah.
you know what keeps popping in my
I
head?
think the model's fantastic.
What keeps popping in my head is Hillary Clinton's "It Takes a Village."
Yeah.
But it takes a team, is what it,
It does.
does.
It
That's great.
So here's a situation that I came up against this week that was interesting. I have a client who is pitching concept. They hold patents on some technology that they are looking to sell the technology to put it into
The
manufacturing.
Chinese.
No, not to to
The
here,
Russians.
right here in
Yeah,
our,
awesome.
our very own local market.
Sweet.
And they're developing a marketing piece that they can use, and they wanted to develop a general piece that they could use no matter who the audience was. So we've been working on that for a couple of weeks, and we were polishing it today, and they got to the end of it and they thought, woo, all done with that. And I said, well, now hold on a second, because the thing you have to consider every time you develop a piece like that is, where are you going to use it? What's the context you're going to use it in? And
Sure.
that's where the presentation piece comes in, to start thinking about who's your audience. The number one mistake that I see people make when they're going to make a pitch to anybody is they fail to stop and think about, who are they talking to? What do they need them to do, think, buy into, make a decision about, act on by the end of this conversation?
Yes.
Right.
And if you don't start with that end in mind, then you risk either making the wrong pitch, missing the mark, getting your audience to just think you're an asshole,
Not
that's
being
there
able to make a
shove
pitch.
something down,
Right.
or you fail. You fail at what your
Well, you get
objective
them all
is.
wound up and
Yeah.
ready to go, and then
And
where do you
don't
point?
close the deal, right?
Yeah.
So you can have a generic piece that you can use as sort of your baseline platform to send out, but you've got to stop and think about who your audience is and how to really tailor that pitch to that specific audience if you're going to close the deal.
No, you target,
It's
right?
true.
Close the deal is
Absolutely.
ask for the orders.
That's right.
And as
it
a
depends.
as a small
Yeah, true.
business owner and someone who started a business knowing zero, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Sure.
For instance,
Use
I
that
wanted
phrase
to
all the
go
time.
to a certain gourmet grocery store and I wanted them to carry my product, and I thought, well, all I need to do is just go in, take a sample, take my sell sheet, and ask them to try it and give me some feedback.
And how many would
then
you like
they're
to
gonna-
start
They're
with?
going to give me a couple cases to
Sure.
order
Why
for
not?
sure.
Yeah.
No.
I went cold call on a holiday weekend their busiest time, and asked to speak to the person in charge of food buying, and she did come to see who I was, and then she screamed at me for 10 minutes in front of a full store of people.
For wasting her time.
For wasting your time. How dare you do this to me on a holiday weekend? How
Okay,
dare
first of all,
you?
Well,
That person is incredibly unprofessional.
Well, it
Yeah.
was
Oh, wait,
unprofessional,
wait.
but I was naive. I had no idea.
That's exactly what that is,
No.
and that buyer is used to working with people that are in tune to her business. Is
That
Correct.
buyer should be
Correct.
fired.
I disagree.
Well, but the only
But-
thing that I would say is that yes, in a perfect world, right, the buyer would say, "We're busy. Let's come back and do it another time." But
Quite
you are
often,
dealing
that
with
buyer is the
people,
owner.
right?
You know,
Yeah,
You're
so-
dealing with people,
And
you're-
sometimes they make mistakes. They're stressed.
Right.
You know, maybe they didn't get any sleep. They have a new baby. Yeah, who knows, right? They
Yeah. No, I get it.
she acted like a
You're unemployed.
well, yeah. They don't work for anybody here, but you know.
And that was just one lesson for me on
Sure.
planning a little bit better.
That's what,
Understanding your audience.
Understanding
I
your
totally
audience.
understand where you come from, but seriously,
Yeah.
especially yelling in a place of business in front of customers,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. it was-
not cool.
Sure.
Not cool.
No.
Definitely not cool. But for you to condemn that person to being terminated, you know,
if
that
I was
quickly is
if I was
pretty
that
I think I
person's
probably
direct
would too.
report, they would be on. Maybe
Double
they would be
secret
fired,
probation?
but they would
Yeah.
be on.
Well, for making a scene in the middle of the store, absolutely.
well, that's
Well,
it.
that's the
That's
thing,
ultimately
right?
it. If she took her to the back room and said,
Yeah,
that's different. Right?
Yeah.
If she leaves like a dog beaten and whatever,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
different.
No,
It
but
was
it,
right
but
out in
you
the
know,
middle of the store.
but that owner comes from like Seinfeld, the soup Nazi. No soup for you today.
Well, that's why you got to remember, right? So Sweetbird Kitchens now, at some point, you've got something great. They're gonna want your product, and you're gonna be like,
Yeah, exactly.
"Remember when this person
No.
did that?"
Hold on. Is
Better,
Sally there?
better than that.
Yeah.
Go back and perfect your approach and make that customer your best advocate.
Right.
That's the approach.
And
So.
that was my natural instinct my first natural instinct was to go grab my cart and push it around and get my stuff and try not to cry. Once I got over that, then my next instinct was, okay, I learned from this. Learning is
Perfect.
the key
Yeah.
component to being
Yeah,
successful in
absolutely.
anything. I learned, and now I'm going to give it a little bit of time, and I'm going to go in there with a different strategy. I'm going to completely change my process and how I do this with this location and other
Yeah, no,
people
perfect.
that I'm trying
Absolutely.
to solicit.
Perfect.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was it was a huge learning
Yeah,
experience.
that's cool. And it's good you
Well,
look
that's-
at it this way
that's it.
instead of just saying, "Well, she's a bitch. I'm not coming back here."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, but
Burn this door to the ground.
No.
but what's the old adage? If you're not failing, you're not trying.
Well,
You know?
exactly.
So,
you learn,
that's true,
and you can't grow if you don't learn.
Absolutely.
And mistakes are the only way you learn, unfortunately.
Good for you. Now you can say you're sorry right now if you want, just in case she's listening.
No,
You know?
she'll call
She's
you.
too busy. She's not listening.
I heard a great adage on a TV show recently. It was like someone said like, "Failure is the fog through which we view success," or something.
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
it sounds
There you go.
good.
Nice.
And I was
Right on.
like,
I like it.
okay.
That sounds
Yeah.
wise.
You know what we should do? We should come up with a new segment that is like, you know, what's the motivational.
We do that.
Well,
It's not the last two
tagline.
episodes. Where have you been?
Oh,
We have the
I
last
guess
two episodes, and
I
I'm
guess
gonna
I'm
do one.
tuning out. It's getting past
You
my
need to
bedtime.
work on portion control of the.
All right. And on the grease in the wheel. So our final segment of the week is at the tip of the week, where we go around. Everybody gives their 30-second recommendation for you, the viewer. One of our 50 subscribers. I didn't mention that, so thank you, folks. We love you. And all you that don't subscribe, why not? It's free. So that being said,
Like and subscribe.
well, yeah,
like-
right.
Or dislike and comment and say, "I don't like you guys, and this is why."
Yeah, right. That's
We'll
good.
learn
That's
from
fine.
our
And then Ben
mistakes
will
here,
sue
right?
you because he's our lawyer.
No,
If you're in the state of
bad.
Michigan,
we welcome constructive criticism, not
Yeah.
just criticism.
and haters are gonna hate, so you can just hate. We don't care.
Yeah, you can hate it. It's fine.
Okay, Taylor Swift.
So, with that, we'll lead off Mr. Lippens. Give
You
some
know
payroll
what?
tips of the week.
It's kind of an interesting deal. I don't really have any payroll tips this week because I spent all week doing taxes for people. But I will give the tip of the week for this. If you have not done your taxes, you should probably start to do them now.
Please
That
do.
is really, that is really
That's
valuable.
pretty smart.
That's good. That's Saturday.
Yeah.
You guys learned something from this show
Yeah.
today. That's good.
So I've been really talking to a lot of people this week around the concept of having a good consolidated working strategic plan. This is a theme that has recurred for me all week in so many different ways. And the best thing I can say is to really think about one of the first components of that strategic plan is figuring out what sets you apart from your competition. So my tip of the week is really think about what are your market differentiators. What are the things that set you apart from all of the other people doing the same business that you're doing in the same geographical space or the same sandbox that you want to play in? If you can isolate and name and claim what that market differentiator is, then you have an opportunity to build a roadmap for yourself that helps you bring that before the right people so they buy.
And I think that's a really hard thing to do for a lot of people is to articulate what that is so that you can build the plan.
That's why
I
we
don't
have a
think
coach.
a lot of people.
Right?
I don't think people have the words for it, the frame of reference for it.
I think usually they're too close to it to see
Yeah.
it. And so
Yeah.
that's why I've
See
been
the
talking
forest for
about
the
it.
trees.
I've been talking about that with a lot of people this week, and just by them describing to me their passion, their why they started this business, how they came to start their business, that gives me enough information that I can feed back to them oftentimes. This is what it sounds like you're saying is the niche you want to carve out in the marketplace. So I know it's an overwhelming task, but if it's something you want help for, that's what we're here
That's
for.
how you do it.
Yeah.
Sure. My tip of the week is pretty simple, like it is every week, it seems. Numbers! Numbers. So in particular, though, around sales, right? So if you don't understand your profit model, you can't be profitable. If you don't have a profit model, you can't be profitable. So if you need a profit model, you need to see me or one of the members of the squad to get you started in the process of helping to redefine how you handle the yucky part of your business. And the part that really isn't fun isn't the reason you become an entrepreneur. Because that's what we like to do here. We like to do that part. We're experts in the yucky part of business.
We enjoy
Yucky,
it.
should I use
Good.
yucky? I don't-
That is good.
It's yucky to them. It's just
It
not
ain't yucky to
No,
us.
it's our business.
Our
It's
passion
our
is
passion.
making life
That's
easy
right.
for you.
Right, so
That's
you know,
right.
so it's all yours. Eagle, scream.
Well, I am going to try something different because I have been trying to do a blog post and it's not been working at all. But I always come to the tip of the week section and I have way more to say than I actually say. So I'm going to keep it very short, and then if you want more information, you can go to the link to the blog post
Oh, wow.
where I
Well
talk
done.
more about
God,
it.
That's really
Right.
Oh.
You need to know the difference between primary and secondary sources, and you need to know when to use what when you're doing your research. And then just one more quick thing: when you Google something on your phone, right, or if you Bing something on your phone, that's a term, right?
Bing.
Something.
They wanted it to be, but it never
Bing.
got there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might use it just because Bing's my default search engine.
I can tell you.
But that's research, right? I mean,
Well, is
Sides-
Bing Google
sides-
or is Google
no,
Bing?
No. So side story.
Or is it
There was a guy that worked for Microsoft who said
rabbit
Google.
hole.
It was part of their research team. Said, yeah, we're just gonna Google it. He's part of the Bing team.
oh,
And
boy.
Steven, whatever his name was, ex-CEO, he got so pissed he fired the guy on the spot that he didn't say, we're gonna Bing
Wow.
it. And the guy said, we should Google it. You're fired. Get out. They fired him on the spot. He was
Wow.
sued, and it's a whole other
That's
story.
crazy.
But so Bing
And now he's
tried.
working for Google.
Yeah, right.
He got a big fat settlement.
And he got a huge check. Yeah, most likely a bunch of Microsoft stock in the process. But they tried. It did. And do you have any tips you'd like to share about?
I do. I
cooking
have
space?
I have an actual entrepreneur tip that I'm stealing part of from Stacy.
Hey, that's okay.
Because she's been a phenomenal mentor for me. Don't attach emotion to a no.
Oh.
Take no as maybe a suggestion.
Yeah.
Take it as an opportunity to look at it differently, find a different way.
That's
Don't
really
take
Great,
it personally.
great advice.
awesome. That's
Right
really
on.
good.
John?
Okay, I got this. I read this little magazine. This is my tip. It's called The Bottom Line Personal, and it's pretty valuable. And I got some pretty good stuff out of it. And the one thing that I got out of it that had something to do with cybersecurity that we had talked about the other day is that the Social Security Administration is actually asking people to go on and start their mysocialsecurity.com site, right? And what you do is because of hacking, because people are stealing Social Security numbers, and they're doing tax returns with them and all kinds of stuff. And even if you're not 65 or 62 or going in, you know, if you're I think 18 years or older, and you can go in and set up this My Social Security .gov, I guess, or it's set up My Social Security on SSA.gov. And what you do is when you go in, it gives you an option to add extra security. And if you add the extra security code, a code will be sent to you sent to your phone that you have to confirm through your phone if anybody goes to try to use your Social Security number.
Wow.
So,
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
so boom, you know, somebody messes with it,
Yeah.
you get an email saying that, hey, they want access. Can they have
Totally
access?
government.
I have one more tip.
Oh.
Based on what you just said, I remember I was listening to I was actually listening to NPR earlier this week, but ties back in with taxes too. There's a new scam going on where people are calling you and pretending to be the IRS. The IRS does not call anyone to collect anything.
Right.
No, I don't.
If you get a call from someone to pretending to be the IRS, say, "Thank you, that's great. I'll take care of it." Call the IRS directly. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and
That's
they're
it.
calling and they're saying you owe the penalty for not having
And
health
if you pay it right
insurance.
now, it'll
Yeah.
go away. Yeah,
I'll
I
just
mean,
say, all right, well, send me a notice in writing to this
Yep.
address. And
That's
hang up,
another
'cause
great
that's
way
what
to
the
do it.
IRS does,
Yep.
is they
Yeah,
mail it.
they
Yeah.
start with writing.
Yep.
They sure do. All right, guys, this concludes our show. So for those of you that watched, thank you. And before we actually end the show, I'll end with a quote. And the quote is, "The true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer." So with that being said, boys and girls,